All right, thank you. And I know typically we don't actually have anything else on the agenda, but because we don't have a council meeting until the next year, I wanted to give this opportunity. I believe Councilor Passan had a few questions for the administration.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do, and I don't anticipate being able to necessarily get an answer right now. I know it's without notice, but if we can at least start the ball rolling on the conversation with the announcement of the new Chief of Public Safety. There's many people that are reaching out, asking questions. I have several questions. You know, I would love for us to be maybe at the council meeting in January if we are able to do that, or at the next Public Safety Committee meeting, to get some information, particularly about how far the outreach will go for applications to be received. Is this just statewide? Is this nationwide? And I know that on the listing, it said that the salary is to be determined by, I believe it was by experience, and what the job description will end up being. But I think that it's going to benefit the council to know what maybe a minimum and maximum salary range is, considering that we just finished the budget process. And this was not mentioned to us before. We had no idea. And I think that it's also important to know where the administration is going to see the money coming from. So for this range of salary to pay for this position, I think it's going to be important of where is that money going to get covered. And when is the hiring date hopeful? So is this something in the near future? Is this in the next 30 days, 90 days, 6 months? What is kind of some information of the basic, and you know, what, where, when, why, and I guess not who yet, because that doesn't make sense. But I would really be grateful if we can get some of that information early on next year when we come back, please.
Council Chair Senna and Councilor, I'd like to know that the administration actually looked at hiring this when we first came in, hiring for this position. So it was advertised. We never really found anybody that was a good fit, and we've continued to look. But what we just recently did is we posted to the position to see what comes in and to get an idea of, see if anybody else might be interested. But some of the other questions I can definitely get back to you. I just wanted to let you know it's not really a new position. It was something that was considered, that was part of, that we looked at when the administration first came in. But I'll get answers to the other questions for you.
Councilor Benton, did you have a question?
Yes, just also for Mr. Padilla along those lines, Madam Chair. So how does this, I guess, not to put you on the spot, Mr. Padilla, but the question that's being asked is, how does this fit in with what in the budget we're calling the new department? And, you know, or since it preceded the new department, is it not really relevant to that? And is the position basically, it's the way it reads on the face of it, it's a supervisor of public safety.
Chair Senna and Councilor Benton, that's a great question. Let me do some research on that, and I can get back to you, and I'll see how it fits in with the new department. So I'd be happy to get back to you.
Thanks, and I understand. I take you obviously at your representation, which is this is something that the administration was interested in for some time, and so maybe we're chronologically a little offset here, but I would like to understand that better myself, since I was sort of caught off guard by it myself. Thank you.
We have Councilor Jones and Councilor Davis also wanting to ask questions relating to this topic.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make one, maybe a correction in Mr. Padilla's statement. This is a new position. Having a position being contemplated does not mean it's already a position. So I think we need to be very clear here that it might be a position in the administration's mind, but it is a new position. So just want to make it really clear that there's a big difference here. So sorry, Mr. Padilla, but thank you.
Councilor Davis?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to ask Mr. Padilla if you could help us. Can you clarify for us? I know Mr. Damon Martinez has been considered the mayor's chief public safety advisor for a number of years. Is this in addition to that position, or is this replacing Mr. Martinez, or can you clarify the difference in those roles?
Chair Sena and Councilor Davis, I don't believe it is. I'm not sure, though. I'd have to get back to you with that. That's not what I've heard. So, but when I get that information, I'll let you know, and I'll get back to the entire council and let them know as well.
Thank you.
All right, just one quick question from myself. From my understanding, we have had similar positions like this, or the position itself, in previous administrations, Chief of Public Safety. I believe Mr. Darren White, and before him was also Mr. Dinelli, from my understanding. Is that correct, Mr. Padilla?
Chair Sena, yes, that is correct. I know that they were a little bit different. I believe from what my memory was is that Pete Dinelli's position was a little bit different from what Darren White's position was, like how it was structured, but those positions have existed in previous administrations.
And this position is similar or different to those two?
It would be, I mean, they were all kind of similar, so it would be similar, but I wouldn't say that it would be set up in the exact same way as the other two. But what I can do is I can get some more information to you, and I can provide that to you.
Thank you. Councilors, any more questions? I appreciate Mr. Padilla for sitting in the hot seat on this one and taking these questions. And also to councilors and staff, because I know this wasn't on the agenda, but I wanted to ensure that that these questions were asked before the new year, since we don't have a council meeting until next year. So for public safety, I want to thank you all for joining in. And since we won't see you here in public safety, I hope you all have a happy holiday and a happy new year. With that, there be no further business. I call the Public Safety Committee meeting adjourned.